Calaroga Shark Media.
Hi there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. What do we make of political Jimmy Fallon? Once again, he was making fun of the President of the United States.
President Trump headlined a rally to celebrate America's 250th after all the musical artists dropped out of his concert. It's the first event where BYOB means bring your own band in the old one. Tonight included a military flyover, Lee Greenwood singing God Bless the USA, and a speech by Trump. Even Trump's biggest fans are like, is this a repeat? Because I feel like I've seen this 400 times. Yep, the rally kicked off the 16-day Great American State Fair in the National Mall. There's funnel cake, there's corn dogs, turkey legs, and lots of other foods found during Trump's colonoscopy. And it's cool. Yeah, the fair has everything. There's even a dunk tank with J.D. Vance and a drunk tank with Kash Patel. Oh. So it's like it's both. Yes, there's a lot. It's something for everyone.
Send your letters to Jimmy Fallon. Meanwhile, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, you know her. She was Elaine on Seinfeld. You know who I'm talking about? Yes. She is sounding the alarm over Donald Trump's war on comedy. On her podcast, Julia Louis-Dreyfus said, I'm not sure how we got here, but all of a sudden we live in a world where facts are disputed. She continues to say that facts are drowned in noise, and then they're weaponized. It's like there's this attack on our ability to trust what we perceive, and then confusion and a kind of numbdification are the results. I've done a lot of comedy in my career, and people don't immediately think of comedy as part of the artist holding up the mirror to society thing. They don't. I thought that's what most comedy is these days. But of course, that's exactly what comedy does, and that's why it's the comedians who go down first, the Stephen Colberts and Jimmy Kimmels. History can be rewritten and heroes removed, but it's harder to erase how people react to a novel or a painting or a movie. Art makes its argument through feeling, and feeling stubbornly can't be controlled. I can see how a good play set in, say, Gaza or on the first tee at Mar-a-Lago might cause a bit of fuss. When there's so much propaganda and chaos, the artist's job gets more essential and, frankly, more dangerous. Well, I'll just point out that Julia Louis-Dreyfus said that on her podcast, so she's not being censored. Also, Stephen Colbert is welcome to start his own podcast. He's welcome to, hey, Stephen, if you want to guest host this thing for a month, a year, 10 years, just let me know. I'll give you a forum. Stephen Colbert is not being censored. Johnny Mac, enough with Trump. You never talk about Obama. Okay, let me talk about Obama. Larry David was at the LA premiere of that new sketch comedy series, Life, Larry and the Pursuit of Unhappiness. Did you watch this? It premiered on HBO last night. Larry David talked about teaming up with former President Obama and said he was terrific. Yeah, we had some back and forth on how things should go in the show. He's used to getting his way, so we were at odds. Larry also gave some hot takes, one of them about the airlines. He said, I don't get people getting on the ground for 5 hours. If there's a mechanical problem, why don't they get people off the plane? Why are they torturing everybody? It's so unfair. The president of these airlines should be made to sit in that middle seat for 5 hours until they fix that. I'm going to guess Larry David flies private, right? He's got Seinfeld money. Oh, this is fun. So I looked up Larry David flies private, and here is what came up. I didn't plan this at all. From Real Clear Politics, April 10th, 2024, comedian Rob Schneider, because of course it's Rob Schneider, talked about the time he confronted Larry David and his then wife for flying short distances on a private plane. Quoting Schneider from this article, Larry David used to complain. Him and his wife used to complain about people. Remember driving? How dare you drive your big RVs and they'd take a private plane from LA to Santa Barbara. I said that to his face, and him and his wife never talked about it again. That's true. Rob Schneider getting it done. Tim Dillon had some thoughts about Pride Month. I think for this particular story, it's worth mentioning that Tim Dillon is gay. Anyway, here's Tim Dillon talking to Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan Experience.
This whole country right now is being torn apart by people who need to feel like they're good people. Why is my bank gay? Ends up doing the exact opposite of what they want. You're shoving a worldview down someone's throat. I have no problem with Scientology on record. It's all fine. But if I went to my bank and it was just all Scientology for the month of June, I would go, this is a lot. Just shut up.
Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino have a new game show out. So how do they promote it? They asked a group of half-naked dudes to run down the street to promote it. This from TMZ. This was on Hollywood Boulevard. A group of 40 guys in just their underwear ran down the block with "Bad Game Show" written on their bare chests. Half the group dressed like Andrew Santino. How do you do that? You wear a red wig. The others were supposed to resemble Bobby Lee. TMZ said, though it honestly looks more like the two comedians found 40 randos on the street and convinced them to strip down. Bad Game Show is Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee's new project. It drops celebrities into a chaotic scene filled with trivia, crazy challenges, and unexpected guests. The first episode is out now and pits Bert Kreischer against Eric Andre. Former guest of this program, Des Bishop. I enjoyed speaking with him a lot. He has a new special out, and he caught up with the LA Times. His new special is Bridge and Tunnel, and he said it took a while to find his American voice. He said the addicts and alcoholics he bonded with while in recovery living in Dublin opened his eyes. Des said, they helped me understand the unfairness of society. Most have been incarcerated, and people always say it's about the choices you make, but I learned it's not about choices, it's about chances. I got sent to boarding school, and when I effed that up, I got sent to a better one. I did stupid stuff, but I always got another chance. Those guys didn't get another chance until they got clean and completely turned their life around. His comedy was shaped by living in Ireland. Des says, storytelling is a more mainstream version of stand-up outside the United States. It's more the norm in Ireland and Great Britain. We all do shows at Edinburgh Fringe, and that's where I honed that skill. Now, for American audiences, I had to be quicker with my punchlines and find ways to keep people engaged. The servers are dropping plates or taking checks here at the Comedy Cellar following Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle standing in the doorway waiting. The LA Times says, talking at a New Yorker's volume certainly helps. Who was I talking to the other day about this? This came up that, who was saying it? Somebody was telling me how New Yorkers speak quickly. And we do. And I shared with that person that for my delivery on this podcast, I actually had to teach myself to slow down. So yeah, anyway, Des says, people always ask him, why are you shouting? Why are you so angry? To which he responds, I'm not angry, I'm from Queens. This is dinner volume. Amen, brother. He learned to meld his storytelling with the faster pace of jokes. The Irish stuff is part of who I am, but I'm a guy from Queens, and when I embraced who the F I am, I suddenly found my American voice and the humor started flowing. I love it. Johnny Max from Queens, in case you're a new listener. On paper, nostalgia stuff can seem lazy, but as the comedian Dillon Morin says, there are no hack subjects, only subjects not done well. And let's keep it Irish. The Toronto Guardian has their series where they catch up with local comedians, and one of them is Fiona O'Brien. We are told Fiona O'Brien brings Irish honesty and raw relatability to stages across Canada, shaped by Billy Connolly's storytelling and Tommy Tiernan's fearless approach. Love it. All right, Fiona, how would you describe your comedy style? She says, real, honest, and Irish. Who are your influences? Billy Connolly, Joan Rivers, Whoopi Goldberg, Tommy Tiernan, Kathy Griffin, Rosie O'Donnell. Favorite comedian growing up is Billy Connolly. Favorite comedian now is Tommy Tiernan. Pre-show ritual. I write out my set during the day and perform it for my dog. Once I get to the gig, I'll write it out again before the show. Just one keyword to remind me of the joke. Favorite place to have performed? Newfoundland is fantastic, like Ireland on steroids. Huh, interesting. I'll have to get up there. What are you promoting right now? Well, she's promoting her latest album, Fiona 51. And thanks Cottage Comedy for helping her with that. And that is your comedy news on a summer Monday. This week I expect to be halfway slow, and next week is going to be brutal. Always is. So we've got July 4th is Saturday, so Friday is a de facto holiday, which means we won't see any news after Wednesday. And then next week, as a longtime radio producer, the week after July 4th, I can assure you, is one of the, if not the slowest news week of the year, because at least after Christmas, you have all the year-end lists. So that's a good reminder to me. Maybe I'll have to dust off my best specials of the year so far. We'll see. Anyway, regardless, we'll be here every day. I'm always here. And you follow the show on Spotify. Turn notifications on. Comments are open on Spotify. Comments are open in the Facebook group, Daily Comedy News Podcast Group. See you tomorrow.